Everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Katie, and welcome to One Music School, where we make music theory easy. Today we're going to be learning how to transpose what I call the easy way. I'm just going to take a lot of the mystery out of it, give you a lot of tools, tips, and tricks to be able to transpose a song so it could better fit your voice, find chords that just jive with you more than the original key. So let's get started. In a previous video, I had talked about the Nashville Numbers system and how that's a great tool to be able to just play any song and to be able to transpose in your head. But what if you're just getting started? So I have a free chart that's going to be linked in the description box below. It's going to be this one that you can print off and use, and I'm going to be using this Nashville Numbers system. So what is the Nashville Numbers system? Simply put, it's a method for notating chords in a way that's universal, regardless of the key you're playing in. Instead of writing out chords like C, G, A minor, F, we use numbers: 1, 4, 5, and 6. Each number corresponds to a note in the key you're playing. Sounds simple, right? Let's break it down. Let's say we're in the key of C major. The C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. No sharps, no flats. Now, if we number those, we get 1 is C, 2 is D, 3 is E, 4 is F, 5 is G, 6 is A, 7 is B. On this chart, I've color-coded them, and you can see that chords 1, 4, and 5 are major chords, and chords 2, 3, and 6 are minor chords, and the 7th is diminished. So if we're playing in the key of C in the Nashville number system, instead of saying play a C chord, we say play a 1 chord. And if you want to play a G chord, you say you play the 5 chord. So let's start off with a song that's in the key of good old C. So we have a normal chord progression would be a 1, 4, 5, and contain a 6. If you're talking about pop music, country music, even a lot of modern worship, praise and worship music. So we have let's say that our 1 is going to be C, and our F is going to be 4. Our 5 is going to be G, or if you want to play G this way, that's fine. And our 6 will be an A minor. But let's say the song is just too low for you to sing. So let's start with that chromatic scale. This is the chromatic scale. Everything is a semitone apart or a half step apart, and some notes have 2 names, so long story short. Because we're in the key of C, we are going to find the C, and that's going to be our starting point. Now, because we want to move this up, we are going to move to the right. So we are going to move it up a couple of half steps and see, you know, how we do. First, let's just move 1 half step. We would be in the key of C sharp. So go to your Nashville number system and find the key of C sharp, and then look at those chords. Now, if you love bar chords and things like that, you know, this may not be an issue for you. So if you have your, this is our C sharp would be here. But if bar chords are not your friend, this is where the capo comes in. Now let's say that you want to play in the key of C sharp and you don't want to do all of those bar chords because they're not your friend, and to be perfectly honest, it's not exactly, it doesn't sound like open chords, right? If you want to keep the integrity and the shimmer or the openness of the open chords that they offer, you grab your capo, you place that on fret number 1. And then you still play in the key of C, like with your C shapes, but technically you're playing in the key of C sharp. Because we're on capo 1, we've moved over 1 half step, 1 semitone, 1 fret, okay? Like that. So if I take the capo off, you're going to hear the similarity. For the sake of practicing, let's keep moving up the chromatic scale. So let's say we have the key of C, the song is just too low, we move it up a half step, it's in the key of C sharp. The chords aren't really maybe your favorite, or you're just not really familiar with them. You could use the capo trick, or you could keep moving up. So now we can move up another half step, and now we'd be in the key of D. Using the Nashville number system, we look at the 1, and then we drag our finger down and we see, okay, from C to D. So 1 is going to be D. And then we have our 4-chord G, then A, and then B minor. Now let's go the opposite way. Let's say that there's a song that is too high for you to sing, and you want to lower the key. So instead of moving up the chromatic scale from left to right, we are going to move down the chromatic scale from right to left. Again, let's just use that example of the key of D because it's fresh in our minds, and we want to move down a half step. And he's like, oh, C sharp, you could try that, if you'd like to try that with our bar chords. And then you can keep moving down. And we're familiar with that key of C. So instead of moving from left to right, we move from right to left. But let's say that you are just working through something and you're like, oh, I still need it lower. And you've reached to C, and that's your starting point. What do? You start over. So you see how like I've bookended it from C to C. So it'd be the key of B. And then you're like, oh, I don't like that. We can go to B flat. Oh, I don't really like that. We can go to A. You see what I mean? So instead of just thinking that, oh, it's the end of the road, you have to start on the other end and then keep going the direction that you want to go. Let's talk about the ukulele for a little bit. There are some common keys that maybe you wouldn't necessarily use more so for the guitar. Let's say that we have something in the key of B flat. And let's go back to that chromatic scale. And you'll see why I want to do this exercise. We want to move this up to the key of D. And if you look at the chromatic scale, you can see that it's like B flat, and then we move to B, and then C, and then wait, it stops. Well, what do? What we do is that we start from the beginning and then we keep moving up. So if you have to move up certain half steps and it stops at that chromatic scale, the chromatic scale never really stops. It just starts over. And so I just wanted to use that as an example so that if you feel like you're stuck and you're just brand new at this kind of thing, you know where to start. We want to move to the key of D. So then we take our Nashville number system and then we find the D, find out which chords are going to replace your current chords. So the one chord is B flat, and if we move to the key of D, it's going to be D. And so that way you can replace those chords that may not be the key that you like to sing in with the chords that will be more conducive for your voice. You can use this chart and you can use it as a great starting point so that you don't have to think about like, okay, what's all the music theory behind it? Because sometimes we learn the tool or just the trick before the music theory comes, And if you have a music theory background, then you can dig just a little bit more deeply into where the Nashville number system came from the circle of fifths and what makes a diatonic scale. If you want more tutorials, I'm going to put them over here. Those are free. And if you're looking for just a place to start to learn how to play the acoustic guitar, the fun, the fast, and the stress-free way, I got you. I made a guitar course. I'm going to put that over here. Everything is all in one spot so that you don't have to scroll through YouTube and lose your place. It's all there, all the charts, all the videos, all in sequential order to help you on your musical journey. So remember, you are loved, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.